We got a story at informedamerican.com saying Trump tweet kills the market. What Trump had said basically was that Pelosi's asking for too much money, and money that's not related for COVID. So I'm pulling my negotiation team. We're not going to do a big stimulus until after the election. And just to tell McConnell, go ahead and get Amy Coney Barrett going. But then, so the market went down, and then after hours trading, President Trump then later tweeted, well, let's do something for the airlines. And in a separate tweet, let's do another round of $1,200 stimulus checks. Send me a skinny bill and I'll sign it. I'm ready. I got the pen. Just come on, give it to me. I'll do it. All of a sudden. And then that kind of went nowhere. And then things were basically the market has been going up and down based on rumor of a deal happening. And in fact, just to that point, this morning before we got on, there was reports of Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin potentially hammering out something. And now the president is apparently open to a larger bill. So, Rodney, what in the world is going on with these negotiations and rumors?
Well, so there's, of course, several moving parts. But Trump said in his tweet on Tuesday, let's just, not worry about this before the election. And after I win, then we'll pass a big one. And as I wrote, he still has to get it through Congress. It doesn't change the path. And so there's no view out there that the Republicans are going to take back the House of Representatives. So at best, after this election, it's going to remain where it is from Trump's point of view, right? Where he keeps the Senate and the White House, but the House, the Senate and the White House and the House of Representatives remains Democratic.
Yeah.
And so are Democrats. And so he's still going to have this difficulty after the election if he wins. And so that's one piece. The next piece is nobody thinks this won't happen. I don't know anyone who believes that there won't be a stimulus deal of some sort to come through this. And so you've heard Mnuchin and some others say, hey, wait a second, maybe we don't need to pass it as fast after the bonus unemployment checks expired on July 31st. But he never said don't do it at all. And he's been out there kind of hawking this $1.5 trillion bill for months. And so clearly the White House is on board with that. Now, the Senate passed a $950 billion bill, which they then passed a $650 billion bill. Nobody's talking about zero. The markets want it sooner because the sooner the money starts flowing, the sooner people are going to be spending it, the sooner businesses are going to have more money, blah, 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 blah. And so when you're looking at the investing side, you're talking about a timing thing. And so what the markets heard was not soon. They drop like a rock. If the markets had heard never going to happen, believe me, it would have been a lot more painful because we still have 26 million people claiming continuing unemployment benefits. We still have 100,000 plus restaurants out of business completely. We still have small businesses going under every day. We still have empty office buildings and no plan for when people are coming back. Mm-hmm. Certainly not any plan for when they come back at full capacity. So there's a lot of pain that this money needs to paper over to keep the markets where they are or going higher.
And those sentiments by you, Rodney, were echoed by Fed Chair Jay Powell when he spoke to the National Association for Business Economics, saying too little support would lead to a weak recovery, creating unnecessary hardship for households and businesses. By contrast, the risks of overdoing it seem, for now, to be smaller. Even if policy actions ultimately prove to be greater than needed, they will not go to waste. The recovery will be stronger and move faster if monetary policy and fiscal policy continue to work side by side to provide support for the economy until it's clearly out of the woods. And that's a story from WallStreetWire.com entitled Fed Chair Urges Congress for More Stimulus. Trump tweets shoots it down. So everybody wants it, well, seemingly, except, basically you have what I would characterize as essentially largesse from the House and more penny pinching from the Senate. And literally, Rodney, as we're talking today, this just came across. Because I had a story about the Pelosi and Mnuchin conversation I was referring to. And on the top banner, guess what popped up, Rodney? Breaking. Mitch McConnell says a coronavirus stimulus package is, quote, unlikely in the next 3 weeks. So there we go, back down again. I could feel the market going down as we talk.
So, but Mitch McConnell's point is he doesn't have the Republican support in the Senate to pass a bill of more than $1 trillion. And it's just not there. And it's because, well, it's because the Republicans don't support it, right, in the right numbers. But they don't support it in large part because you have at-risk senators who don't want to be voting for a large spending bill in front of the election and then have to defend to their voters, hey, I voted for even more money going out the door when we're not sure of what we need. Because there are people who believe that, hey, this is too much, right? And so when I said earlier, no one believes it isn't going to happen, I mean in terms of the Federal Reserve and politicians and people, large institutional investors. But clearly a lot of everyday people think we're giving away a lot of free money with no way to pay for it. This is a real problem for our nation over time. And so it's going to be easier for the Senate to support such a thing after the election's over, because no matter what happens, these senators will either be reelected or lame duck. It's going to there's going to be resolution, and so they can then vote for a bill without that sort of Damocles hanging over their head.
Okay, but I mean, presumably that there could, well, I guess it depends what your individual constituents want in your individual state, but
right.
Passing something is more likely to be favorable to the president, which could, down ballot help these Senate candidates for getting something done. While because there are even the Republican voters just say who may not want, say, the government, how are you going to pay for it? But on the other hand, there are many Republican voters who are also part of that 30 million unemployed, or those who are struggling to pay their bills, or are own a business and they're not getting paid back, down the line from other people who maybe owe them some cash, or renters, things like that, and they may be wanting to see a bill as well. I understand exactly what you're saying, but I just find that strange. I think to me it makes more sense for everybody to get something done before the election. I don't get it. I really don't.
Feel free to lobby those senators, but that appears to be the case as to why McConnell does not have support to pass anything. Not anything of this size.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say. Yeah, okay, understood. And so I guess it's off the table. We're not getting anything done.
I wouldn't say that because there's so much talk about it. I mean, that's the point. We don't know, and so if we don't know when it's coming, right? It becomes an argument over air. It's just an argument of timing, and whether it happens before or after, I don't know, but I think it's going to happen, right? Because I think there are enough people that want this to move it forward at some point.
All right, let me close, though, in terms of the markets. How much of this deal has already been priced into the market? In other words, what more, say something actually gets through. I mean, looking at, of course, the market's been going up and down a little bit here and there on positive or negative news. But where's the potential for some deal getting made, whenever the heck it is, Rodney? How much growth in the market could we see from a deal actually getting secured, or is that all just sort of been washed away along the way?
I think most of it's priced in. So the great risk is not the great volatility, because volatility is either direction. The volatility is not in a deal passing. I think that would add maybe a few percentage points to the market, right? I mean, the Dow goes up another 500, maybe 1,000 over a few days. The great volatility is in a deal looking like it will never happen. And I think the market would go down, significantly on something like that. And so when you ask, is it priced in? Yeah, it's priced in because everybody thinks it's coming.